What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. It is the 26th day of January, and we're wrapping up this month real fast. It is Monday. It's the beginning of a brand new week. We're starting off this Monday rather fierce. I don't necessarily like that. Personally, I'd rather see Monday be a dump day and then we pump back up again. A lot of you probably know why. I just have this superstition, and I keep calling it a superstition because I think that's exactly how you should think of this. This is not a form of it's not a legitimate form of analysis. I suppose it's some type of form of analysis, but statistical analysis technically. But every green week, look at just we don't have to go through the whole history of Bitcoin, but just look at what we can see here. Every green week that you see, the predominant amount of them have some sort of noticeable wick to the downside. This one doesn't, and that one doesn't. That's three, maybe four, five. Five out of like all of these other green ones, right? It's not that it's so rare that you never see it, but once in a lifetime. It does happen. It does happen, but the superstition here is you need a wick. You need to see the week move down in order to move up. It's like a false heading in the beginning of the week, and then you go to the proper heading the rest of the week, because the thought there is that it builds bullish momentum, right? This candle here with a thick bullish engulfing candle that also has a very big wick below it, that's more bullish than a candle that's just like this, right? Showing that you went back and you rejected it and now you're pumping, that's more bullish, like in psychology, I guess, at least as far as we're concerned, where this is kind of an unanswered question mark. Are we just starting the week off like this? On the flip side of that, notice all the red weeks. How many of the red weeks have wicks to the upside versus don't, right? That means most of these red weeks started their Mondays and Tuesdays probably with some green side, and then came back down at the end of the week. And it's not a guarantee. Again, it's more of a superstition. You do not, this does not mean that we have to go down. I'm just saying it's nice that we're up a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know. I would have rather seen us dump. It's because I'm superstitious. If we're looking at this though, from a low to a high, we did go down exactly where we were expecting to go to, right? Like right there, just below 87K. We actually hit a low of 86K on the dot, man, right there. I was thinking we could go just a little bit below 86K, and maybe we still do. This is not a certifiable low just yet, but it's completely acceptable and it's completely appropriate for a low. I think it's completely appropriate. We're back. We're back below the 30 on the fear and greed index. You guys notice this here? Let's actually look at this and see. I'm kind of curious to see. Well, I think we're getting more fearful with each higher low that we get, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just see. So maybe not more fearful. I shouldn't say that. This higher low here for Bitcoin, whenever it came in, we were at a level 28 on the fear and greed index. Well, we're at a level 29 now. So we're at a level 29 on the fear and greed index, and we have a higher low than we did back here. Back there we had a level 28 on the fear and greed index. So and you can see it here, right? It says 29 right there, where here it says, oh, no, I guess that wasn't a 20. It says 28. I don't think it is 28. I think it's more probably closer to like 22, 25. But the point still remains, we're in levels of high fear while promoting higher lows. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me, right? That's like seeing euphoria at a lower high. That would get me scared. I wouldn't be excited about that, right? It very much makes me confident that we will move up from here. I do have a lot of confidence in this low, but I'm not completely convinced yet. It's completely acceptable to pull back, go even lower, and then come back up. We're not, the end of the world is not happening just because we go below this low. But I do like that as a low, just speaking plainly there. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, look at that. That's not bad. There's a lot of volume there. We're on Binance too, so the volume readings here are somewhat reliable. It looks like a lot of volume. It's not like, I mean, it's not small. It's just not like crazy volume, right? We saw more volume on these spikes back here than we did here. And we saw more volume. These spikes didn't get as high of levels, but we saw more consistent and overall more volume here on the move up. There was a good bit of a move down, final push with that volume. You barely took out that low. As soon as we took out that low, that was the low, and now we're moving back up with even more volume technically. The spikes, again, aren't higher than these spikes, but the overall volume is more than what we experienced on the way down. So this I would just treat as like a fake out. And fake outs typically imply that we will then break out to the opposite direction. Typically, not always. Don't take that to the bank, but it's a good way of thinking most of the time. A little bit of a double bottom in the RSI. Starting to take on a bullish posture here. I like that. And the stochastics look good. The MACD is still bearish, but if we can get this 1 hour MACD, the oscillators to cross above the 0, this level here, if we can get that, we'll probably be in pretty good shape. Notice here how we got above it. Notice here how we got above it. And these were just rejection points. So a little bit above it doth butter no parsnips. We need to pump a little bit past that, okay? We're going to get those parsnips all buttery. Looking at this on the 4-hour time frame. Other than that, though, I mean, other than the oscillators being below the 0, I actually really do like where we are. We don't want to reject here. That's all I'm trying to say. Right? If we reject here, that could really open up this week the way that I was talking about, which is we open up green and we finish red. That would not be fun. We don't want this week to finish red. We definitely don't. I don't think we want this week to finish red at all. This week needs to close green. I'm being very serious there, because if we close red, we'll jump back to the 4-hour time frame we were about to hop onto there. If this week closes red, that means that this week will close below here. And I can't imagine that if we were to reject this area right now, that it would take too long to get down here. We still have a full week ahead. So if we were to close red, we're probably going to close well below 86K, maybe even 85K. And that's when we really do question, are we taking out this low or not? We avoid that question entirely if we just don't do that. Let's just keep moving up. Right? And right now, the 1-hour time frame to me looks good enough to be bullish, to expect continuation. But if we were to reject right here, that could be a problem. So we need to continue now, essentially. It doesn't have to be like this hour, but today. By the end of today, we need to be closing above where we are now. We do. I don't know how high. Above 90K is great. Above 91, above 94, whatever. I don't care. But just higher. It needs to close higher. We need this MACD to break through, not reject. 4-hour time frame, the stochastics look great. Here, the MACD has bullish divergence, right? You can see it. You can see it with your eyeballs. Low here in the histogram, right? You're building lows, lower lows, bearish momentum's building. Now you have a low and a higher low, right? You're getting higher lows there. And you're also getting lower lows in the price. It's bullish divergence. You're getting a little bit of a move up because of that. The RSI does have a bit of hidden bearish divergence here, because now you have higher highs in the RSI while providing lower highs in the price. It is hidden bearish divergence. I mean, maybe that's what that little standstill moment was there on that 4-hour candle. Maybe that's exactly what that was. That was just hidden bearish divergence. I don't know. It looks like that now, but if we keep pushing higher, I would assume that getting into the overbought zone would directly correlate with breaking out of this range to the upside. So I really don't think it should take much for us to see prices above 91K again. I mean, even by the end of today, it's very much a feasible outcome, if not sometime tomorrow. And then again, just the thoughts here with the MACD, the 4 hours a little bit more significant than the 1 hour. Here, we're crossing up. If we really start to, let's say we keep this pace here. Let's say we keep this pace here from where we are now. We could be, Thursday, maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday, crossing above the 0. The last time we crossed above the 0, what happened, right? That was like right here was when we crossed. That was right at the base of this move that went from about 91.3 at the point of crossing, 91.3K, all the way up to about 97.8K in about a day and a half. So by the end of this week, there's a completely acceptable outcome that we can expect, which is that we would be above 95K. We could very well be above 95, if not 94K by the end of this week, but we have to be on good behavior, okay? Maybe higher. Who knows? It could be higher, of course, but I'm just trying to be rational here. I think that we are going to go higher. I think that we will break out and prevail to the upside, but time will tell. I'll tell you what, man. This is one thing that's not bad about closing today green, about moving up immediately, is that we are bouncing right off the overbought zone, the oversold zone. That doesn't always mean that we go to the overbought zone. That doesn't always mean good things, but let's just see, the last handful of times, here, bounced off the oversold zone. We got a pump from 99K all the way up to about 107K. So it's about almost 8.5K pump. Not bad. Our low was at 86K. Translate that into an 8.5K pump. That put us at about 94K. Imagine the price going up to 94K. I would be pretty bullish there. Here, we're in a bit of a downtrend. We're actually kind of in an uptrend. Higher lows and higher highs. I'd still call this a consolidation phase overall, but relatively speaking, sure, it's an uptrend. This is kind of different circumstances. So even in these more bearish circumstances where you were rejecting prior support, you still saw an $8,500 move, roughly. The last time that your RSI bounced off the oversold zone. The time before that it bounced, you went from a low of 104K all the way up to a high of 116K, right? And this is like $12,000 move, and at a higher market cap level, right? The same reading gave you a bigger move at a higher market cap level. And then here, of course, we went to new all-time highs. This was our run here where we went from 108K to 126K, which is nearly a 20K move. And this happened in about a week and a half. This happened from the low in about a week and a half, and this happened from the low in about a week. So I would think within the next week to week and a half, sure, by the end of this month of January, if not certainly the first week of February, I could very well see us being above this high. It could happen. It very well could. At least something around here. But the first week of January, or February, might call for higher prices based off what we've seen before. I mean, the smallest move we saw was $8,000, basically $8,500. From a low to a high, $8,500 would be right at about 94.7K, 94.5K maybe. And that should happen by the end of the week. I wouldn't be surprised at all if by the end of this week we were closing above 94K, maybe even higher than that, but we'll see. Time will tell. I don't have anything else that I want to say. I like where we are on the MACD. We're now dying off in bearish momentum. We're right at the point to find support again. Remember here on the 4 hour, no, not the 4 hour, I'm sorry, the 1 hour time frame where you broke above the zero, but this was a resistance point. You broke above the zero here. That was a resistance point. We're doing the same thing now on the daily time frame where we're breaking below here, but this is a support point. And if we can find support here, and I think we are, I mean, killing the bearish momentum right here, that's a good sign in itself. That's a good area to bounce. The stochastics look like they're ready to bounce. A little bit of a double bottom there. And the RSI, of course, we already went over why I think that's bullish, because we're bouncing right off the oversold zone. And even in the bearish trends, that's had a minimum bullish effect of $8,500 move. And at higher market cap levels, we saw dramatically higher levels than that. We've got bullish momentum building now, and people are fearful. I'm thinking we're going to see a move that's larger than $8,500 personally. I'm thinking we're going to see a move from here that takes us above this high. And with that, if we extend that thought, if we get above this high, are we still going to be range bound? Maybe. It's possible. By the way, we don't have to break out of here. This is not a requirement. We could consolidate into like the middle or end of February. It could happen. We've seen larger consolidation phases than that throughout this cycle. It could happen, and then we move up. Maybe it's the end of February to March. That'll be the exciting month. But I've been expecting since December at least that February would be a good month. And with that, I'm thinking that this next move will be the breakout that we're looking for. We are going to get some type of, I think, large BART on a weekly time frame. Just like this. Just like this. It's going to be just like that. And we are going to, exactly what I said here is exactly what I'm saying here. We're going to move up faster than we moved down. We're going to move up faster here than we move down. This took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks to accomplish from high to low. It's going to take us less. Mark my words, you guys. I think it starts now. It's going to take us less than 7 weeks from now to see new all-time highs. At least less than 7 weeks to get back up here. But I would think that we do see new all-time highs. Anyways, I got nothing else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.